Okay, so this is New World Coming, Chapter 9. This chapter was mainly about consumerism, culture, and mass production of the 1920s. So, first, we'll talk about the science. Albert Einstein, the top left picture, had just published his theory of relativity, giving way to the uncertainty principle of physics. Sigmund Freud, the bottom left picture, considered the founder of psychoanalysis, was researching how the mind works and focused on helping people in mental distress. His most famous theory was of the unconscious mind, that our thoughts, memories, and emotions lie outside the awareness of the conscious mind. Robert and Helen Merrill Lind were researching the quintessential Middletown to study the day by day life. This took place in Muncie, Indiana. The top right picture is what it looks like today. Lastly, we have Harry L. Hollingsworth, who painted a picture of the average American out of 4 million World War I soldiers. He found the average American to be someone who lives to be 53, weighs 150 pounds, and is 67 inches or 5'7". The vocabulary has 7,500 words, and they leave school about 8th grade with little knowledge of the social sciences. They do not take up much interest in religion. The last picture is what the average man would be, and that is a World War I soldier. Now we are on to the car craze in the 1920s. In 1924, there were 17.5 million cars. This grew out of the need to get rid of horse drawn vehicles. As of 1909, 2 million horse drawn carriages had been produced, but horse dung would be prevalent in the streets, and a study in New York City found 80% had suffered from bacterial diseases associated with the manure. But with the rise of cars also came issues such as the lack of parking and traffic. Fatalities were increasing to 5,400 in 1919 to 9,800 in 1924. While this may not seem like a lot today, keep in mind that this was unprecedented in this new car era. The car created movement for farmers and broke the isolation of these family farms. This led to the growth of suburbs. Cleveland, for example, grew by 1,000%. Housing design changed too. There was a need for garages. Another change seen was with laws, ranging from driver's licenses and speed limits to issues of liability, later leading to insurance. The car industry brought changes to the economy. $1 of every $5 spent went for automobiles. Roads lead to higher taxes, and visitation to national parks soared. This led to a change in Middletown. The average person had to have a car, or more people were saving up for cars than homes. It was basically a status symbol. So, next, we have the beginnings of Henry Ford seen in the first picture. His whole idea was mass production in industry rather than producing luxury and hand built machines. His innovation made him a legend, and he was seen as a genius, although he was a raging racist and conservative. He was an innovator in modern capitalism. He was born in Michigan in a small village. When he was young, he was always playing with machines and little wind up toys. He lost his mom at the age of 13, which severely affected him. As he grew up, his father supported his mechanical interests, although that goes against the common narrative he flounced. Um, he obtained a apprenticeship in Detroit, which was already booming with business at the time. When he finished his apprenticeship after 3 years, he became a wandering mechanic. He absorbed the populist views of Michigan, and they remained his core beliefs throughout life. He got married to Clara Jane Bryant, seen in the third picture, and they moved to Detroit again. Against popular belief, he did not create the first car. The first practical automobile was created by Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz, two German craftsmen, in 1885 or 1886. This was then publicized by the Doria brothers, Charles and Frank, in the United States. Nevertheless, Ford undertook his ambition and created his primitive car. He was joining a widening industry, and there was at least 502 American car companies, many of whom failed. So, as we all know, Ford rose to success. He organized the Ford Motor Company, capitalized at $100,000. The first cars produced by him were assembled by parts made from other companies, but soon he began to make cars and parts himself as a part of his business plan. This business plan ultimately helped to make a cheaper automobile. The first Model T rolled out in 1908. She achieved major success with popular demand quickly outpacing major production. He contracted Albert Kahn, a pioneer in the use of reinforced concrete construction, to build a factory in Highland Park in the outskirts of Detroit. In this factory, every man had an individual job, which was seen as monotone by the workers. The first year, Model Ts poured off the assembly line at a record rate of 300,000 cars. In addition to his economic success, he had a reputational success, giving his workers a wage of $5 a day. Soon, Highland Park ran out of space, and he built a new super plant in the Rogue River, but it was stalled by inefficiencies. With Ford's rising success came competition. People began looking for cars that were more sleeker and stylish. One competitor, General Motors, had become a product of the time. Under Harding and Coolidge, the Sherman and Clayton Antitrust Acts had become obsolete. The free enterprise system led to the rise of big monopolies such as Great Atlantic Pacific Tea Company that owned 17,500 grocery stores across the United States, or chains such as Safeway, Kroger, and Piggly Wiggly. General Motors founder William C. Durant took the first step when he acquired Buick Motor Company in 1905 and made it one of the largest automobile producers in the United States. He bought Cadillac, Buick, Oldsmobile, and Oakland, now Pontiac, under one management. Durant used swift tactics and acquired other companies to grow the General Motors brand and make millions. He focused little on the efficiency of the company, though, and lost the company and declared bankruptcy. Bringing order out of the chaos, Alfred P. Sloan organized the company for the new owner DuPont. Ultimately, design and glamour replaced reliability as a selling point. Chrysler, founded by Walter P. Chrysler, innovated the industry in that it switched from steam to gasoline engines. They bought out the Dodge brothers and added the DeSoto and low-priced Plymouth to the line. He then bought the Chrysler building in Midtown Manhattan, an Art Deco classic. He built it, not bought it. This need for glamour led to Ford's creation of Model A. It was cleaner looking, faster, and safer, and came in many colors. Like I said earlier, suburbs were being created and rural America was disappearing. As of 1940, paved roads were very limited. Major Dwight D. Eisenhower, the first picture, later president, set out a convoy of trucks to test the highways. The Federal Highway Act of 1916 offered to fix the highways by matching local grants with federal grants that appropriated $75 million for highway construction. Roads led to the expansion of the American West, and more advertising appeared as they had signs and they were able to advertise more along the road. And the creation of motels or other courts and cabins um, were popularized. And then lastly, we have the rise of film. The automobile gave physical mobility and people were able to go see movies. Thomas Edison, known as the inventor of the light bulb, also created the motion picture using the vitascope and later the kinetoscope. The kinetoscope was followed by Nickelodeon, as crude as they were, but they were very popular, with people setting up lawn chairs outside in dingy places. With the rise of film came the creation of the Motion Picture Patents Company that was designed to control the industry by pooling patents to protect profits and prevent pirating. Actors in these movies sometimes hid their faces or didn't want to be in the movies because they were so bad. Nevertheless, people like D.W. Griffith set out to make movies. He created the extremely racist movie, The Birth of a Nation, that became very popular, and that was his only success, and he later died of an alcoholic recluse in 1948, which was deserved. Following World War One, the films became more polished, and they could be seen in movie palaces such as the Colored Picture here, and this palace is in Los Angeles and can still be toured today. With better movies came success for individual actors such as Rudolph Valentino in the movie The Sheik. Some other first class pictures created were The Covered Wagon, The Big Parade, Wings, Blind Husbands, Male and Female, and The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. But the most enduring classic of the silent times was comedy. People such as Harold Lloyd, Laurel and Hardy, and Buster Keaton drew out laughs, but Charlie Chaplin was the king of comedy. He didn't do well in the modern film era, though. And that is it for film, and that is it for chapter 9. I know this video was long, but that's basically the entire chapter and everything you need to know.